Welcome to Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. You can find us at LCARA.net, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. If you're enjoying the videos we're producing here at LCARA, please help our club out by hitting that subscribe button. Also, give us some feedback on our videos. Click the like button, share with anybody who may find it interesting, and be sure and hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified of the next video release. Well, hello folks, this is Chris, KY4CKP, and today we're bringing you part 4 of the abandoned repeater site refurbishment and doing some more work on the brand new building that we bought, the insulated building. And today, you might be able to guess from the current picture, we are going to be doing some electrical work. Got a nice brand new building, and we've shown you a little bit of it so far, but there's no electrical in it at all. So we're going to be adding some electrical work to it, and we also have the power company installing a brand new electrical service up at the site. There was a pre-existing service that we had, the original location had tapped into. We're going to have a brand new 200 amp service, although we're going to be bringing 100 amps into our shed here. And so we're just going to kind of go over the work we did over a couple of days for the electrical work. And we had several of us show up for our primary work day, and we've had some occasionally our club will do some extra work days if when some of us have some time off, and we'll go out there and do some work to help move things along. So we're going to show kind of a compilation of a couple of days worth of work. So we had picked up a bunch of the pieces and parts that we needed, although we still ended up having to go out and grab a couple of things. You know how it is. It's hard to do a project. I know at my house, it's always going to require at least one trip to Lowe's or Home Depot or someplace, and it's not uncommon for there to be two, even three sometimes. But with our Elmer Dawn, we usually avoid trips quite often. Now, in this case, we had some parts. We did have to go out for one particular part, but we got those and moved forward. So we've got the outlets, we've got conduit, we've got the junction boxes. We're going to be putting some overhead lighting in. We've got a pipe bender. I don't think we managed to capture any pictures or footage using the pipe bender, but we had a pipe bender for the half-inch conduit, and you'll see that we did some custom bends around corners and things. So we just wanted to cover that and kind of go over this. Making great progress on this, and should have it in pretty good shape and ready to go pretty soon. So, pretty much the first thing we did is we mounted the new electrical box. It's a 100 amp box, and of course we had our level and everything. And when they delivered the shed, they actually did a really good job leveling the shed. It's really close to being perfectly level front to back and left to right. So we first thing is we put up the box, make sure it was level, and everything is going to be custom cut and custom bent, and all put in solid conduit, and everything is as you'll see. And then we're going to wire it in, and then at the end we got out the tester and tested everything. So we got the box up there. Now there's you may notice towards the bottom of that box there's a bar that goes across. We don't know for the electrical service if we're going to need to keep the bar in there or if we're going to need to remove that bar. There's just two screws that holds that bar in. And it just depends on the electrical service. With some electrical service, you have to tie those two together, and with some, you don't. So we're just going to leave that bar in there for now, and once we get up there and we see how they've done the electrical service, then we'll know if we need to leave it in or take it out. It's just two screws, so it's not going to be a big deal either way. Now this is part of what we did. We just did a custom bend around this corner to put in the light switch. We did end up putting in two overhead lights, as you'll see in just a little while. So we did that. We measured and cut that, did that bend for the light switch, pretty close to the door, kind of right there on the left-hand edge. So of course, you're going to want to have a convenient light switch for your building and your facilities there. And we're also going to see that we put in a total of 4 outlets. So we had pretty much everything we needed. There was a few hangers, supports, and a couple of conduit to box couplers, half-inch conduit to box couplers. We actually had plenty of 3/4, but we weren't using 3/4 material this time. We were using a half-inch. So we put in the light switch would be just a little bit above this shot to your left there. There's the box. Right below the box, we put in an outlet. That outlet is going to be largely in case we're doing things around the building and we need some power, or we might be using an extension cord or something. So that's sort of for outside operations whenever we might need that. That's going to be on a circuit. And this was the first of our runs we did, the first outlet box that we put in. So in the shed, as you're standing at the doorway, the left-hand wall where the service box is, there's this box on the left-hand wall. Then on the very back of the shed, there's going to be two outlets. And then on the right-hand side, there's going to be another outlet. So as you'll see as we go along here, we ran a conduit and installed a total of 4 outlets around the building. And for this relatively 8-foot by 8-foot shed with the equipment, I think that's going to be enough outlets for us. We could always add more in the future if we really feel like we needed to. So of course, again, we were measuring and cutting the 12-foot sections of conduit down to whatever we needed. Again, I don't think we had got a picture of it. We had a pipe bender, manual pipe bender on hand, and so we did do the 90-degree and some other angles for the installations, especially when we did the overhead lights. So of course, just a hacksaw, just kept it simple, and custom cut and custom bent the conduit. You can see another 90-degree bend right there. But here's where we're taking the first run, which is one circuit. Basically the left hand part of the shed is one circuit. The right hand will be basically a second circuit. The outside is a separate circuit. So we're breaking things apart on different circuits and things, keep it from overloading any one 15 or 20 amp circuit. And we put in those support hangers as well every so often to help make sure it's nice and strong. Probably overkill for the limited size and runs of some of this stuff, but the building is going to last a very long time. We have a very, very similar building to this at our primary site, and that's been up there for a long time. In fact, AC4DM has a number of these types of buildings on his property. They'll last just years and years and years. They're very well built. They tend to last a very long time. Compared to the kind of buildings you can get on the side of the road or at Lowe's or Home Depot, these are actually a lot less expensive and way better built. They're a much, much better value. Now, we had to go about 45 minutes away to find people who were still making these, and in that location there was actually 2 or 3 people making these. Sometimes in the areas of the country there's more people that tend to do this design, and these kinds of things, businesses come and go. But here you can see how we have the 2 runs. So you can see the first run's on the top, and we're putting in an outlet there. But then you can see that second run that comes around and becomes the second box on the rear wall, and then the box on the right-hand wall. And again, the 2 90-degree bends in the pipe there to go around. And again, each of those is a separate circuit. So again, we're not going to be overloading any one circuit with too much equipment. We have the air conditioning in there. It's a 110, 115 type air conditioner, so it's not. It only pulls 6-7 amps, so it's really not too bad on anything. We'll have a heater in there for the winter, but again, it really doesn't pull that many amps. And typically, your repeaters and those kinds of things, they don't pull that much really. Again, just doing some electrical work here. This is on the back. Actually, this is up at the front. So this is the furthest extension away from the box, if you will, over on the right-hand side. And Steve was putting in this particular KK4YUG, was putting in this particular outlet. So we had a couple of folks helping with wiring. We were working on measuring and cutting and putting in the conduit in the boxes and everything. And then we also you can see some of that work going on here. And then we also, of course, put in some overhead lighting. We put in 2 fixtures overhead to give us a good amount of light. Of course, it's pretty much, as you can see, white inside. It's not that big of a structure, so you'll typically have a pretty good amount of light. And whenever you need to peer into the deep, dark recesses of a cabinet or something, you can, of course, always get out the old handy flashlight to do that kind of work. So again, we've got a lot of the electric work's probably done. I don't know if we're going to add anything else. If we think about anything, we can certainly still do it. But once we get on site, then we'll drill a hole in the floor. Then we'll bury some conduit over to the power service, and we'll hook into it. And again, that's when we'll know whether we have to remove that one bus bar that's in the service box itself or not. And we'll have good, clean, brand new power service that's in the name of the club, and we'll be responsible for that. The cost of that service each month, which is usually not too bad, especially with these insulated style buildings. Again, they're very well built, they're very sturdy, and the insulation, they're not super thick walls. They're probably a total of inch and a half, 2 inches maybe, metal inside, metal outside. But they're very sturdy and they last a long time. We are going to put kind of a rubberized ceiling or outside roof compound that you use. It's kind of like stuff you put on RVs and some other things. It's kind of a rubberized white compound, and you roll it on. It's very thick. It helps give you really good water weather protection. We'll be putting that on the roof as well. We've put that on the other 8/8 repeat side as well. So just kind of showing there towards the end of some of this work, we've got lots of extra wire in the box, so we have plenty of extra room in each of the outlet boxes and so forth. There's some extra, so that if you ever have to go back in here and do anything, you've got some slack. That's one of the worst things. If you've ever done anything around your home, I've got one or two outlets in my home that if you open them up, there's like no slack, and just we were swapping out some of the outlets and things, and and it was just a pain, and it was tough because there was just no room to work because there's no slack. So we made sure there's plenty of slack in all the boxes and certainly there in the box. Here's where we custom bent some of that and ran it up to the ceiling for, this is the first of the two light fixtures. This is towards the front of the building, but you can kind of see the frame of the door there, the darker gray. So this is towards the front by the door. And then we teed off of this box, which would kind of be heading towards the left-hand side of the picture in a sense, and then put in another box. So two overhead lights, and we've got all that in place and put in the fixtures and the bulbs. And then as we'll see just briefly here at the tail end as we start to wrap this one up, we took a tester and we tested all the outlets and flipped the light switch. Lights came on and everything worked. So this was a big step forward. Getting the shed and getting it delivered was a big step forward. The earlier work we did and doing a little bit of extra sealing on it in a few things and putting that nice textured coating on the floor, that's all good stuff. But getting the electrical done, this is, having light is always nice if you want to close the door and use the air conditioning. So a big step forward for this, and we'll bring you folks back as we do some more work and continue the series on the abandoned repeater site. So we'll wrap this up. This is Chris, KY4CKP for Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. 73, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.